What's up guys, it's Andrew here with 765 Disc Review, and today we have the MVP Discs Resistor. So this is a fairway driver here. It is, for the flight numbers, I believe 6.5, 4, 0, 3.5 there. So I've been throwing this for a while now, just kind of getting to know it here. I was really curious about it because of the kind of before I ended up getting this disc, I'd heard it referred to as a mini Firebird. So as a big forehand thrower, I was really excited to try this here. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about kind of some of my thoughts that I had come up with, I suppose, as I got to know the disc. So starting off, this is a 175 gram disc, so pretty heavy, I feel like, as far as fairway drivers go. The feel in the hand, this is incredibly flat. So one of the things I've noticed about MVP discs is oftentimes they come out very flat, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. As far as kind of backhand throws, I felt it was relatively comfortable. It's a pretty small rim. I feel like for a fairway driver, that 6.5 speed really, seems to be pretty accurate. The forehand grip, though, I felt like it was maybe a little shallow. So that's one thing that maybe that's a good thing for you, maybe that's a bad thing, depending on how the discs generally kind of feel for you in your hand size. But overall, not too bad. The Eclipse plastic is pretty grippy, I would say, relatively soft, all things considered. And yeah, so otherwise, for the kind of good, I'll start there. So this was a really reliable disc. One of the things that kind of came to mind for me here is I felt like it was kind of a workhorse driver or workhorse fairway driver, because it wasn't really quite the baby Firebird that I had kind of heard going into this here, but it was definitely reliable. For me as a forehand thrower, I definitely could see this being a disc that you just go to for that slot when you just need a reliable fade. You want it to come out of whatever angle you're putting on here, but you don't need it to be necessarily super aggressive. So definitely thought that. It definitely goes pretty far as well. For some reason, the Resistor and the Crave for me, both of those are like 6.5 speeds, and they seem to fly as I would imagine maybe an 8-speed would. So there wasn't very many times where this was flying that much shorter, I suppose, than my Nate Sexton Firebird. So you could definitely get some distance off of it. Maybe it's that gyro technology, who knows. But yeah, so that was all good with it there. As far as kind of the bad for me, it's very rare that I think you'll see or hear a forehand thrower say this, but I almost felt that the disc was too flat. And I felt that way sometimes about some of the MVP discs there, where it almost makes it feel really shallow. And like I had mentioned earlier, for my forehand grip, this disc felt incredibly shallow. Felt like it was kind of difficult for me to get kind of my whole finger pad. So when I do a forehand grip, it kind of looks something like this. And it was one of those that just felt like I kind of had part of my finger pad sticking out of the bottom, which made it a little bit difficult to grip. So like I said, all in all, I didn't think that it was anything terribly major, but at the same time, I felt like when I did actually get a good throw with it, it just didn't seem quite as stable as the numbers would suggest there. But if I wasn't getting a great grip and just getting kind of a average or below average kind of spin rate on it, I did see a little bit more of that stability. So you might be able to tell that in the videos as well. But overall for me, like I said, I think this is a really solid option. I would not let what people have said about it being a baby Firebird here really scare you away from it, especially if you're a forehand thrower, because I found this to be a wonderful kind of workhorse driver slot for myself personally. So for me, I would say the numbers kind of felt like it was going to be like a 7.5 speed almost, not with how it feels in the rim, but just how much distance I was getting out of it. I was surprised there. I would say the glide was a little bit more than I expected. I'd definitely say a 5 glide. I'm completely content and happy with the 0 turn. For the fade, I might put it more at 2.5, however. So it wasn't really quite as strong of a fade as I would suggest, or as I would have imagined going into it. But nonetheless, definitely a great disc worth trying out if you haven't yet. It's the MVP Discs Resistor. Definitely give it a go. It's a solid disc for sure.
Don't throw it in there, baby.
Butterfly!
Butterfly.
Butterfly!